I thought I'd make a different video today. This one's all about how easy it is to fly the drone. So just how easy is it? Well, this is the picture of the controller that I use. And it's really, really simple. The upper part here where you can see the places where the phone or the tablet can be inserted in, and then it gets plugged into the control unit. There are basically two control sticks. The one on the left is used to go up and down. You push it forward, you gain altitude, pull it back, you lose altitude. If you push it to the left or the right, you will rotate in that direction. And the right control stick, if you push it forward, you go forward. If you pull it back, you go back. And then if you push it to the right or left, you slide in that direction. Sliding meaning you keep your camera aimed straight forward, but you move to the right or to the left. Then there's a controller power button. And this button over here, the emergency return home, is really important. If for some reason you detect a problem, you can push that button and the drone will immediately climb to whatever preset altitude you've told it. I usually tell mine about 300 feet to be sure I'm clear of everything. And it will return back to where it took off. And then down below here, we have some status lights. The first one is the power on button. And there's 4 of these other lights that tell you how your battery's doing on the controller. So that's what we use to control the actual drone in flight. The real question is, what do you see on the tablet or on the phone that's hooked up above here? And this is kind of what it looks like. And let me take you through this real quick. First of all, there's this thing that says FPV. That's the kind of flying you're doing. Your camera's doing first-person viewing as if you were behind the camera. There are other options there for doing what they call point of interest shots and tracking and things like that, but FPV is most common. Then there's a little picture of a satellite and how many satellites you're receiving. My drone can receive both the GPS satellites from the United States and GLONASS satellites from Russia. So it's really precise. Next one is how much battery you have on your controller. At this point, my controller had 82%. My flight mode is positive with GPS backing it up. The controller signal strength, I've got 5 bars, which is really great. The video downlink signal strength is 5 bars, also very strong. The battery on my drone at this point was 89%. You can also see here a green line and a red line. This green line will start shrinking as you use up your battery, and then you'll get a warning. And then once you hit the red, it'll automatically return to home and land. And if you override that and it runs out, it'll automatically land right away. These are a whole bunch of settings I'm not going to go through. This is a bunch of the camera information. Again, I'm not going to go through that. These are kind of interesting buttons. This one's called course lock. That means no matter what you do, it's going to stay on the course that it was aimed at when you started. So you can rotate and still fly the specific direction. Heading lock means your camera will always be pointed in that direction. This is another emergency return to home button. Push it and the system will ask you if you want to return to home. You slide a little thing over and it will come back and land. And this is auto land. If you're worried about landing, you can bring it over and then you push that and whatever underneath it is where it's going to land, which is kind of nice. Before you take off, this button is auto takeoff. So you can push it when it's on the ground and it'll get up to about 6 feet and wait for you to do something. On the screen here, you can barely see these white lines. These are grid lines. And this center square is basically the center of your camera. So you can use this for positioning. Over here to the right are some sharing information, which I'm not going to go through. This has to do with whether you're on camera mode or video mode. This takes pictures or starts the video. And these are some more settings like white balance and things like that. Now, the bottom line here is really interesting. This is the overall direction of your heading of your camera. Your altitude, my altitude at this point was 7.9 feet. My distance away from the home position, where the controller is, was 3.7 feet. So I had just taken off. My speed was 1 mile an hour, and I'm going up at a rate of 7 miles an hour. And over here, you can see a picture showing which way the drone is actually flying. The home position is marked. And as I get further away, you'll see that will separate and there'll be a line between them so I know how to return home. So let's begin our flight here. You can see we're climbing up now. I should say that if you ever get in trouble when you're flying a drone, just let both control sticks go and the drone will hover wherever it is. So it's very, very forgiving. You can see we're now up to 102 feet and we're starting to move away. You can see 12 miles an hour, we're moving at that speed. Now notice the picture here is a little bit jerky because we're actually not looking at the recorded video. We're looking at the broadcast video from the drone, which is not as near as high quality, but it's what you use for flying. So you can see sometimes there'll be dropouts, sometimes there'll be blinking lights and other things. But this is perfectly normal. And you can now see in the lower right-hand corner how the drone is flying away from the home position. So if I ever wondered where it was, I could just turn it around and fly right back. And I'm now 500 and some odd feet away. I am recording still. The red light on the right is blinking. I'm flying now near the park that's to the south of us. And you can start to see we're getting some dropouts because we're getting further away. And that's okay. Now I'm turning. I'm using the left joystick and moving it to the right, and it's rotating. And you can see down below here in the lower right-hand corner, the picture of the triangle drone is now pointing differently as it moves around. See, I've done nothing to touch this picture up or anything. It's just basically the low-res basic download from the camera. The camera actually records in 4K video, and this is only 1080p. And because of the signal distance, there may be some dropouts. The drone actually can go 3.5 miles away. I've never had it that far, don't ever intend to, because that's really violating the rules on drones. You're supposed to be able to see the drone at all times. You can hear some of the wind noise I'm getting. So I'm just going to let this run and let you enjoy what you're hearing and see how it goes. Hope you enjoyed this. You see just how easy it is to fly a drone. Other drones, of course, are a little more complicated. There are some that are racing drones that are not forgiving. You have to control everything, and if you forget to control them, they go off and wander and do whatever. But these camera or cinematic drones are extremely forgiving. Like I say, if you get into trouble, you just stop, let go of the controls, and it'll hover until you figure out what you want to do. You can see now our battery's down to 78%. The little green line at the top is shrinking. Our controller is down to 82%. We've got 20 satellites now. So.